just figured out I need an LLC. Now you're saying I need some S Corp thing because I made $50,000. Like, what the heck is that? How is that different from an LLC? And you're saying that I could pay less in taxes if I have the S Corp based on the amount of money that I've made. Like, I want to unpack that a little bit. Like, what is an S Corp? What does that actually do for me? And why is it that that amount that I should have an S Corp set up?
Not all entities are set up the same, right? When you set up an LLC, there's different ways you can tax it. When you set up a corporation, there's different ways that you can have that structured. So based off of your risk versus reward and your asset protection level, and based off of your income level, it is so important to understand your perspective and your situation of how those things are going to benefit you. So a lot of times people will change to that S corporation, or they'll change their LLC so that it's taxed like an S corporation around the $50,000 mark with income. And the reason for that is you can pay yourself a salary, a distribution, but it also allows you to avoid half of that self-employment tax. It's an excellent way to make sure you're saving the money and you can reinvest into your own retirement, into your own business. Throw the money off a bridge. I don't care what you do with it, but give yourself the opportunity to make that decision.
Got it. That makes sense. So essentially, I still have this LLC set up. So let's say my LLC is 123 Main Street LLC. When I set up an S Corp, is that now another entity over here? Or is it like I'm converting my LLC that I already have into an S Corp? I'm just like changing the structure of that?
Yeah, great question. Technically, we can do either or, but in most cases, 123 Main Street, we're going to submit a 25534 form to the IRS and change that tax election from being taxed as an LLC to then being taxed as an S corporation, which opens up those benefits for you. So we can set up a separate entity, but we don't have to if that doesn't make sense for your specific situation.
Okay, got it. So I don't actually need to go set up more and more entities. I can just change the way that essentially this entity over here is being taxed once I reach that threshold of netting $50,000 a year.
Correct. Absolutely.
What if I'm watching this video and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have been running everything through my LLC. I'm netting over $50,000 this year, and it is now December 28th of the calendar year, and I have not switched my entity from an LLC to an S Corp. What is the time frame for me for that calendar year to be taxed as an S Corp? What do I need to do?
Great question. So we actually have to get that submitted and get it approved by March 15th. So March 15th of the following year, as long as we get that S Corp election approved, we can backdate all the way to the previous year. So if you're in December and you're watching this video and you're having a heart attack, take a deep breath, but schedule a call, make sure to speak with us, and we can help you make sure that gets accepted before March 15th.
I have a better understanding of, okay, LLC versus getting an S Corp once I've reached that threshold of over $50,000 a year net, essentially. And so when it comes to having additional write-offs, what are some of the things that people don't typically include and they're missing out on, or they're leaving thousands of dollars on the table by not including those things in what they're trying to write off for their business?
Yeah, this is one of the most common questions we get is, Tommy, give me a quick fix. What's the magic deduction that's going to save me hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes? The two things that I would say to that, number one, have a system to track your expenses. If you're not tracking your expenses throughout the year, you are going to leave money on the table at the end of the year. That's number one. Number two, keep up with the tax code changes. Have an accountant or have a CPA that makes you aware of some of the tax code changes that are being made. So to give you a couple of those,